I don't know. I think you just like don't compare yourself to the Twitter feed all the time. The 24/7 of you're an idiot for holding this coin, you're an idiot for not holding this coin. Why didn't you buy this? Why didn't you buy X? Doesn't really matter all the time. And I think like using that to like make yourself better as I mean, if you want to be a better trader, then yeah, just do it. But try to get away from the toxicity of just hating everything on Twitter and like the replies of bashing someone.
Chaos Labs, the leading on-chain risk management firm, recently launched its new flagship Oracle product, Edge. Edge delivers integrated, high-precision risk and price data for any application with a market. Follow and reach out to Chaos Labs on X to learn more.
What's up, guys? Just want to tell you a little bit more about Fuel Labs and their new Ethereum L2 Fuel Ignition. So Fuel Labs is launching Fuel Ignition, a high-performance ETH L2 powered by their Fuel VM. With the launch of Ignition, the team is also launching Phase 2 for their Fuel Points program to reward users and promote growth. Make sure to check out fuel.network to learn more. Nothing said on 0x Research is a recommendation to buy or sell securities or tokens. This podcast is for informational purposes only, and any views expressed by anyone on the show are solely our opinions, not financial advice. Boccaccio, Ryan, and our guests may hold positions in the companies, funds, or projects discussed. What's up, guys? Just wanted to give a bit of context for today's episode. At 0x Research, we're going to be doing a new series within the podcast called Fic Talk, which will be more CT native and more risk on. Before we get started with today's episode, I wanted to give a huge shout out to Swanson Benson, who coined the term Fic Talk and graciously allowed us to use the name for the podcast. And I just wanted to also give an extra huge NFA DYOR. Let's get to it. What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of 0x Research. Today, I'm joined by Tolks and Icebergy to talk about what is happening across crypto and be positive and not nihilistic. So what's up, guys? How you doing?
Pretty good. Thanks for having me on. Yeah, really like your episodes and like the OX Research. So yeah, thanks for having me. Trying just to like survive the mental exhaustion of Twitter. What about you guys?
Yeah, good. Always a pleasure to be here, Bach. Yeah, survive. I mean, survive's a good word for the current state of the market. We happen to have the pleasure of recording while things are going straight down, so that's always fun too.
That's my favorite. Yeah,
really lightens the mood.
So in my original notes, I already brought this up a bit, but in my original notes, I had animal spirits are back in the market, and not just on the sold side for once. We're also seeing a lot of ETH memes popping off, and BTC memes also doing well. I looked at the BTC chart maybe like a few hours ago, and then you guys also brought it up that we're nuking. I don't know if that's still relevant, but apart from that, like, what are you guys seeing in the markets?
I don't know. People are just fighting for their lives over meme coins. Or what's really weird is the like KOL meme coins that like everyone like, buys now, because the fairly launched meme coins like go down because like the people who like cornered all the supply can't really sell their like KOL meme coins. And just I don't know, it's getting really like toxic where people you're better off buying the KOL meme coin than like the fairly launched one, which just feels gross. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, even if just on like the trenches, I guess we can start there. They've been pretty active lately, and like that, what you're talking about there, Bergie. It's funny, like, I mean, you can think you're kind of early to a coin, and then there's another one launched, and then there's one launched on ETH, and then there's three of them on Sol, and then somebody's like, oh, there's a CTO one. It's like, what do you mean there's a CTO one? The like main one is only at 4 or 5 million. Like, how can there possibly already be a CTO one or a KOL one? Yeah, it's
and somehow it's done like 20 million in volume.
Organically.
Yeah. You're like, how did I get this wrong?
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's been the most active, I'd say. Well, up until, I mean, we'll see how this week closes, and some of the recent SEC action. I don't know if that'll have any impact on it, but I'd say like the past 2 to 3 weeks was the most active really since I'd say around like Q1. I don't know if you guys think different across both Sol and ETH. Like Bach mentioned at the top, we saw a little bit of ETH revival there. The as far as the trenches kind of activity goes, so that was good to see. I guess that's kind of you can call it the Murad effect, I guess, which is something, but it definitely breathes some more life into the markets. We'll see if it's sustainable, but I guess it's been fun and kind of good to see, minus the you know wading through the KOL trash that we were talking about at the beginning there.
Yeah, definitely it's picked up. Like I don't I, I think it was like mid-September where it like started like all of a sudden everything just like ripped at once. And then I don't know, like people started launching anything like a bunch of stuff. I haven't really checked in on like volumes and like I think you can track a lot of that stuff on like the volumes of like the bots are doing, and
Mm-hmm.
that's probably like the best way to like keep track of like how active like people really are.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, especially when you talk about crypto, Twitter like native capital too. Like, I mean, I think there's always that discussion of like when is the outside capital going to come in. But yeah, I mean, the bots they're definitely a good way to track that, and I don't think there's too much outside capital, coming into play in the meme coin mania and stuff right now, which is kind of surprising with how much liquidity we've kind of seen sloshing around the past few weeks. Like I said, we'll see if that's sustainable or not, or if it just is extracted again. But it's kind of been a slightly pleasant surprise.
Yeah, Bergie, you're absolutely right. Based on this, to our listeners, if you don't have the video on, it's the DEX bot sector usage by day, the trading bot usage, and yeah, we're back at not back at, but we're around there. Like you can see the bumps very clearly. End of July, start of August, June as well. I remember we had a lot of activity going on, and we're back at those levels with the trading bots. So a lot of hot
Yeah,
money um, flowing around.
yeah, I think it was that Hippo one that really like went to like just ripped super hard, and then everyone's like, oh wait, maybe other tokens can go up too.
Yeah, we were, with regard to meme coins, Bergie, one thing that I saw you tweeted a few times, and this one that I wanted to ask you, because I don't think like a lot of other people are taking this position. I think this is the case, is that like we've kind of rebranded meme coins as not extractive, and as like egalitarian, anti-VC. We're saving the world. We're like changing everything, type of deal, and I just don't think that's really the case. But I'm not sure how to like argue it with people because I think people don't really understand that these are very insider controlled. Like the general retail, or I guess like 80% of CT doesn't understand it, or they just don't care, and they're just like, these are egalitarian. We can just go along with it. What do you think?
I think people just buy them because they don't care because it's like the only thing going up that you can like make money on. Like in the last, I don't know, past, I don't even know how long it's been going on for, but
don't say don't
it's a
say
while.
don't say
Uh,
how long it's been.
yeah, and the only problem is like there's not really anything. Your other options aren't really that much better with all the unlocks, and like you're kind of just like running into like oncoming traffic with some of this stuff.
Yeah.
Um, there's probably a lot of reasons why, but it's hard to like pinpoint on exactly just one. Um, I don't know. Just I think meme coins are like perfectly fine to trade, but like when that's all anyone cares about, and then there's no better alternatives. There's no one like building apps or like, well, there are people building apps, but like when that's the main focus, and like even the scammers just forgot they like stopped launching apps and stuff to scam people. They just like can build a meme coin. um I don't know, they're just like not, it just doesn't feel optimistic of like crypto can actually do something interesting, or like you can like, you don't even have to buy those tokens, but it feels much better when like people are like building things. or like
Yeah.
trying to experiment, trying to like push the boundaries. And I think that's kind of what we've lost. But like the insiders and stuff with like the KOL deals and telling you this is the only way to make it, I don't know, it just feels very, it doesn't feel right.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
it's
feel like that's the most malicious, like actively malicious thing is saying like you can only make it if you just gamble on meme coins. Like there's definitely, like you said, meme coins have been the only thing that's been going up for 8 months, 9 months, apart
you
from
weren't supposed to
Sol.
say you weren't supposed to say how long it's been. It
we
makes it
have
it
we
makes
have
it
to
real
go.
sad.
The only positive I can think of it is like we've like fully stress tested like a ton of apps that we haven't been
Yeah.
able to like stress test before, and like everyone has a wallet in on their phone now, and it's definitely helped like a lot of like the barriers to entry of crypto, of like getting people on chain, and
Yeah,
that's just something like something it's really been hard to get people to like download a wallet and like start using things on chain. Whether we can convert like these people to actually like stay around, use the chains, and like play with things, I don't know yet, but I'm sure people will stay around. A lot of the NFT people did.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I mean, it's a great point too about the infra, and I mean, especially the mobile aspect. Like, eventually, everybody thinks crypto has to scale to mobile infrastructure. Eventually, that's where you reach the largest audience. And I mean, just how you were talking there about stress testing, and people coming in for meme coins, seeing it as bad, and like what you brought up with NFTs. Like, I mean, you can there's if you look at kind of like the webs and the strings that have spun out and what people have built from coming into crypto for crypto kitties or NBA Top Shot or NFTs, like it's you know sometimes, especially day to day, week to week, like it's hard to think of the big picture like that. But every marginal person interested, like, I mean, you start to play around a little bit with a wallet, realize you can self custody your own money and send it anywhere at any time. And that stuff kind of, it's more of a slow bleed than the in your face meme coin aspect. So I like to take the optimistic view on it, kind of like what you said with the infra, the
Yeah.
mobile, and just exposing to people what else is around.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a lot
Telegram
of
trading,
people. Oh yeah, Telegram trading is, it's hard not to use because it's
it's
so like convenient.
it's revolutionary. I love it. Like I know I'm not supposed to love it this much. Like I feel a bit bad, but it's just like it's a game changer. It's so much easier than anything else.
I
Even
think
like
that's a problem with like wallets, so it should be
yeah,
much easier to like sell everything. Like you shouldn't have to put your money in like a Telegram bot to trade. Like it should be something you can do, but I don't know if like, but the problem is it's just such a better experience than
yeah.
some of the other things we have.
And in defense of wallets, I think it's mainly because of the Apple fees. Like they have that 30% off of revenue or fee swing on the App Store. So I think a lot of wallets just either haven't focused on it or they just haven't been able to launch a good app.
That's
Because, like you
possible.
said,
There's
it
a lot
makes no
of
sense.
things to you have to do to like get around. I don't know. Hopefully, we see like more mobile apps. Like the PWA stuff, I thought was really interesting. I know everyone hates on like friend tech for that, but I don't think we'd see all these like PWA apps if it wasn't for like friend tech.
Oh yeah, I think that's definitely true. I remember, gosh, when Frentech was that last summer, that was, I mean, it was kind of like an aha moment at how easy it was to just sign up. And I mean, partially because the prices and how much, but I was like, it is so easy to spend a ridiculous amount of money, like in 35 minutes, and just to
Yeah.
log in. And how quick it was. I mean, they did a lot for kind of expanding what is possible, and we've seen some attempts here and there. And I guess, I mean, it's just it's a slow process, and building apps are hard. I mean, we haven't everybody wants apps, and I want apps, and we're definitely going to get more crypto apps. But you look at traditional world, like there hasn't been that much development in apps in that sense either. So I don't know, I think we're kind of just at a slow grind right
See,
now, and
My
maybe get
yeah,
there.
the apps have been printing money this cycle though,
Yeah,
yeah,
it
which
should be
is
good
kind of
incentive.
funny, you know.
Yeah.
Everyone says no one wants to invest in apps, and then like some random app pops up that made like $100 million. It's like, oh, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah. I mean, I guess that's the other thing about pump fun and meme coins. Like, you could take the view that it's kind of weeding out a little bit the people that don't want to build, and then it also provides like an example of, like you said, how much can be made from an app that clips a couple percent. Like, there's a
yeah.
lot of low hanging, money and users that are ready in this space. So it just takes a couple right ideas.
My hot take is that Frantech was the best SocialFi app that we've had, and they've done a lot. I don't know, Bergie, I don't know how you feel about Racer and Frantech in general. I hope you didn't lose any like money in it. Talk same for you. I don't know how you feel about that, but I liked Frantech. I think it was the best attempt that we had at like a social app. Farcaster is like they had the same hype cycle, but Farcaster just didn't stay on for as long as it wasn't as like popular at its peak. You couldn't make money on it. um, I guess you could have bet through Deacon, but I don't know. I think Frantech really like pushed forward, like you said, the PWA stuff, but as well as like it led to a lot of spin-offs. Like Farcaster, I think definitely got more popular after Frantech. Same with Fantasy Top. It's not as popular now, but that's like I think directly off of Frantech as well.
Dude, I think the fantasy top's actually a lot more popular than people think too. I actually have been
Yeah.
playing it since it launched. Just kind of fun to have something to do, you know, when
Yeah.
everyone's just trading meme coins. It's like, I guess I'll just do this.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say too. I see a couple metrics, maybe once every 2 weeks or so, and I mean the fantasy top metrics look pretty good. So, um, it's interesting for sure.
Yeah, it's just like a hard thing to build, like to grow it outside of crypto. But I don't know. I think it's like kind of a fun app to play around with every so often, and I think they did a really good job with like getting people to log in every day with like certain little like just like simple stuff that you don't really see a lot of like uh crypto apps do, where like you have to open it every day to do something.
Yeah, I mean they don't have a mobile app, right?
No, I think it's just a PWA.
Okay. Yeah, I mean that's what I was going to say about the other thing. I mean, what you're talking about is that like reinforced nature of opening things, and I'm sure you guys both have Moonshot on your phone, but like when those banners pop up, like you kind of, I don't know, at least like I'm kind of like, oh, I'd just pop it open, and I don't know. It's one of those small things, but it is really important when you're trying to scale apps to mass audiences.
I do not have
Yeah,
Moonshot.
you're lucky. You're not getting the you missed a 2000x.
Yeah,
No,
moved Angus up 1,000x since listing, and you hold none of it. You're just like, oh, sick.
no.
But yeah, I mean, again, that's like specific for meme coin trading. But I just think like the entire conversation about PWAs and mobile apps and all this infrastructure that is here, like if you squint, you can kind of see that we're pretty damn close. At least I
I
Pac-Man
think we're
tried to
just
do
too
this
zoomed
with
in.
Blast.
Uh, with Blast,
Go
the
ahead, Bergie.
mobile. Are you
No,
talking about
he
Blast
tried to
being
do.
like the mobile focus?
No, I mean like he tried to do this like log in every few days to do like some new challenge, so you can get like
Oh
extra
yeah,
points and stuff. It didn't work out, but
yeah.
it was a valiant effort.
Yeah, I think
I
there's still some smart people that I don't know or remain optimistic on Blast. I actually never bridge. I think I explained that on a podcast with you, Bach, like way back when. I was just there's too much other stuff going on. I was just like, I'll just watch. But they also have I don't know if like Fantasy Top is obviously the main one, but just a couple novel like new things that haven't necessarily been tried, and you want to see those things. So um,
I think we're getting really close to like not really mattering where the app is. You can kind of see it with like Polymarket and Fantasy Top, where I don't really know if it matters where like apps will deploy in the future, as long as like you have users.
Yeah, I think it's definitely fair. I mean, if you have a good enough product, like I think those two make it pretty clear that people will find a way to get there. I mean, I think you can even say that for some of the Solana stuff back in like late 23. Like there was really nobody there, and I mean, there's people. You build something good enough, like people will show up. So, but yeah, the infrastructure stuff. I mean, I guess we could probably talk about the Unichain announcement this morning because that seems like what they're really trying to address. If you want to go there now, Bach.
Yeah. Yeah, let me run over this. Just for the listeners. So Unichain, they announced Unichain this morning. It's an OP stack this morning, a few hours ago. The OP stack chain, fast blocks, 250 milliseconds. The main focus is, I guess, cross-chain liquidity. I'm not exactly sure what their exact angle is with this. And so they're using intents in the back end, but the two things that me and the other analysts talked about was it's either they're going to try and port over liquidity, like over some form of like 6 to 12 months, um, try and get like liquidity from other L2s and L1 back to, not back to, but to Unichain, and route trades through there, or they're just gonna route trades through there just based on like however intense they're gonna try and use, um, just to capture volume. I don't really understand. I think this is cool, like what they're doing, especially like the validator stuff, which I'll expand on a bit later. But curious to hear what you guys think is like the actual goal of this, apart from um, I guess like routing liquidity. How do you think they're trying to approach it, or do you think it's necessary even?
I think it's pretty interesting because they're like taking all of the improvements and like adding it to the OP stack. So should help like unify a lot of that like ecosystem, so it's not just such a pain to use.
Yeah.
I don't know. This is what people have been talking about, like the theories of what Unichain would be, where you can just trade across everywhere. It's hard. It's hard for me to imagine like wanting to bridge there just to trade, but I think they have like decent lock in with like the UI and not the UI, the website and the wallet, where it could probably direct people to it, and just making their like life, because like the Uniswap Labs like makes most of their money from the website and the app like swap fee from the UI. Um, so I don't know. I guess it kind of makes sense, and but I just don't really see a point in bridging there. Just like now, does that make sense? I
Yeah, I
also
mean,
like
Yeah, I
haven't
imagine they'll
that
go ahead.
document's pretty like there's a lot of like technical stuff in there, and
Yeah.
I just don't really understand all of it yet.
I imagine they're gonna try and just keep it on the back end instead. Like the front ends will still exist on each chain, so they'll still have base.uniswap.com, and then they'll just route, especially for the OP stack chains. Then I assume they'll just host all of the liquidity on the Uniswap chain, so you won't actually have to bridge over there. They'll just like um, use intents to fill your orders. I'm not exactly sure how they're going to do it because I imagine they're going to need some form of token standardization across chains, and I'm sure there's like really smart people working on exactly how to figure this out. But to me, the most interesting thing was that they're going to make so currently, most other L2s, they have a single sequencer. They're trying to move away from that. Uniswap is going to have multiple sequencers, and they are going to allow people to stake, validators to stake Uni to participate in, however, like contributing to the infra. And this is, I think, like the only instance where Metis has validators stake 20,000 metis, but I feel like that's not a lot anyway. It'll be interesting to see how that like affects Uni as well. I think they're gonna do some stake weighted stuff where the more stake you have, the more you earn off whatever sequencer fees or
Yeah,
MEV fees
there's
there
all
is.
the MEV stuff
Um,
too that people were talking about. Something someone was saying similar along the lines of like what I think like Kyle Samani was saying about like MEV going back to the protocol instead of like
yeah,
the like searchers. So I don't know. Some people were talking about that, but I just haven't dug into it enough.
yeah. I saw Dan Robinson was talking about it today, and he said what he said, they're not capturing MEV for the sequencer. It's about building a platform with consistent rules that let apps and users, not sequencers, control their MEV. So it's kind of like similar to, I mean, similar in a different way, that what Blast did to incentivize, apps and users, like to kind of have the value flow back to them. So um, I think down the line you can think of it almost more of kind of like a general purpose chain than kind of just like an app chain.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's interesting, and it's one of those things where it's everybody's talking about it today, and there's obvious the immediate reactions of like, oh, another L2, and it's much more than another L2. But I also think that
Yeah.
stuff like this is ambitious, and it'll take a little time.
Yeah, I think it's only going to be a net positive as well. I don't see like Uniswap shutting down anything else. It'll just be they'll add an extra, the Unichain, and however much liquidity ports over there, it's really good. And I don't want to be the midwit that says it's another L2 that is cannibalizing Ethereum, but this one I actually think is cannibalizing Ethereum a bit. In that if a lot of liquidity moves over from Ethereum to Uniswap or from other L2s to Uniswap, Unichain, sorry, I feel like that might actually be not so great for Ethereum. But because obviously as Ethereum, you want as many swap fees as like you want the volume on your chain, um, not on Unichain.
Yeah, and I mean that's another thing that goes back to, I mean, just the how long it'll take to kind of scale to where it's at. And I mean, this is kind of in the vision
Yeah,
of the L2 roadmap. It's just to get to scale the L2s to get to where it needs to not necessarily, in my opinion, like affect the ETH, the asset. It just it's going to take some time, and 5-10x plus users, if not much more than that. But this is kind of the vision that has been outlined, and it takes time.
Yeah, I think we're kind of like too zoomed in. Just on like I think we were talking about earlier about kind of just being like distraught with the market, like just reading Twitter all the time. I just think we were like too zoomed in to like crypto to see like the progress of like everything.
Yeah.
And like if you like you see like everyone fighting, or you like see someone like a bad actor do something, and then you're like, this is everything. But then like there's all these teams like building, and I think it's just too easy to get sucked into like a negative like space kind of. But for like a bull case for like layer twos, I kind of think they're just going to be like databases. And like if you are like an app or something like that, you just deploy a like higher performant layer two to like interact with crypto, but then like you abstract that away for like people in mobile apps. So you still get like some of the functionality and like the like money, and like crypto money like flows around like pretty aggressively. So like just doing like deploying your own layer two as like almost like a database, but like you're extended to these other parties, I think could open up a lot of doors of like for like layer twos. But just I don't know, you just get like so many of them that it doesn't really matter where you deploy eventually, but that's just going to take a really long time.
Yeah. And Uni kind of addressed that a little bit in their blog post. I think it's, what is it, standard ERC 7683, which I'm not familiar with or technically versed in. But what they announced today is kind of like that unified liquidity layer across the entire OP stack, which
yeah,
includes what, Base and Zora on there, and um,
mode.
WorldCoin and Mode. Yeah. So I think, I mean, it's really good for OP and the OP stack in general, I think. But then they outlined how they're working to build towards, kind of that vision that you outlined there, Bergie, where it doesn't necessarily matter what, L2, or even if you're on mainnet, like, you build the intents in, and there will eventually be a liquidity layer that kind of obfuscates everything, and it's seamless, and it is going to take some time. And I mean, that was kind of my original, going back to, I mean, I kind of a noted L2 hater and been a little bearish on ETH. And I mean, it was because of this. But that was, not necessarily like a common take back in, 2023, but now I think it's kind of like consensus that there's too many L2s and the
Yeah.
fragmentation and everything. And I think like in typical crypto Twitter fashion, like now that it's a little consensus, like we're actually closer to that end vision than before. It's still going to take some time, but it's another one of those things where like if you squint, you can see it, and it's been a long time coming, but we're getting closer by the day. It's just there's a lot of shit that other people pay attention to during the day to day.
See, I kind of think I don't really even know if it was all because of layer two stuff. I think people are just really too allocated to ETH versus everything else.
Oh, that
And
too. Yeah.
like even if ETH did everything perfect, I just don't see how you compete with like the Bitcoin ETF, the inflows, it kind of like becoming like more of a macro asset. And then like Solana was really cheap, and it's like there wasn't a lot of money inflowing. I mean, there was some money coming in, but it was mostly like capital like being reallocated and repositioned versus just like but then like the price going down, you start creating like narratives and reasons why, and then it becomes like self-fulfilling, and then everyone's like talking about it, and it just kind of like snowballs.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that's definitely true. There were a multitude of factors. But yeah, the it's yeah, the competition on both sides is hard. And it's just kind of, you get to that valuation, you're kind of just, you're just stuck for a little bit. And like that's doesn't mean
Yeah.
like, it's the end of the world. It's just it's just hard.
Yeah, and then the negative cycle of like comparing yourself to some dude who traded like $100 to like $4 million. You're like, uh,
To be
man.
fair, that does.
That's not good. That's not good for anyone.
Yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of cases, and then but then you're like, what do I really like? I know, like that dude probably bought who knows how many tokens, and probably put in some work to get there. I just don't really know if I want to do all
I,
that work
I tell
and
myself
that
at night
stress.
to be able to sleep that he did some marginal amount of work because I can't live with the alternative.
It'll be me next.
Yeah, right, right. Uh, but yeah, just I guess closing the loop on Unichain. It's I don't know what it'll be something to monitor, and it'll be interesting to monitor Uni's price action and some other dexes because I mean, as we've seen often in crypto, like when there's announcement like this, there's other protocols and things that are building in that specific sector that pay attention, and it'll be interesting to watch. I mean, it's definitely something that again everybody makes a big deal about it that morning and then kind of forgets about it, but it'll be something to keep track of over the next couple quarters for sure.
Still waiting for Uni V4 to launch too, but
I
you
see.
can move on.
That's what I thought was coming this morning because somebody noticed that there started to be a classic uptick in OI and Uni outperforming a little bit, and I thought it was going to be Uni V4, but I guess that'll be soon too.
We'll see. That's what I was gonna mention with the I think it was pretty telegraphed, the Uniswap, the Unichain thing. Like I can't remember anything else being this telegraphed for this long. I'm not sure what it was. Like OI increase was a lot more than typical pre-announcement, but apart from that, talks like you mentioned, there's a bunch of other stuff. I think like the big one is Uniswap work together with Across. This is not financial advice, but they work together with Across to build out that ERC 7683 cross-chain interoperability intense proposal. And apart from that, I think in general we're gonna see more and more because intents are just so good. I know it's like basically just some market maker filling like me on chain A, taking from chain B, but like it's changed my life in terms of bridging. I feel like I do this on the pod every 3 weeks, but it's like Wormhole or early days of Wormhole, like bridging to Luna, bridging to Solana was hell. And D-Bridge has changed that for me. Like D-Bridge has made bridging to Solana good. So like anything that's with intents, I imagine we're going to see more and more
Yeah,
over the next 6 to 12 months.
D Bridge is so fast. I was scared the first time. I'm like, there has to be fraud on the back end. There has to be some fraud going on here. This is far too quick. But
I
yeah,
think there's a lot of like small increment improvements and like quality of life on
Yep.
chain that
definitely.
I don't know, just slowly happening.
Yeah. Rabby is a big one. Like just that wallet changed my life as well. It's so much better than I can't remember. We won't get into like every single improvement that has been made in crypto for the past 3 months, but that's another one that just immediately popped in my head is like Rabby over MetaMask is very, very good.
Chaos Labs, the leading on-chain risk management firm, recently launched its new flagship Oracle product, Edge. Edge delivers integrated, high-precision risk and price data for any application with a market. After 2 months of securing Jupiter, Edge has already secured $30 billion in volume and more than 60% of all Solana perps volume. Edge is comprised of 3 components: high-precision price data with an integrated risk engine, automated delivery of real-time parameter adjustments on-chain, and secure delivery of custom data points via zero-knowledge proofs. Follow and reach out to Chaos Labs on X to learn more. Thanks again to Chaos Labs for sponsoring today's episode.
What's up, guys? Fuel Ignition is finally here. Fuel Ignition is a high-performance L2 solution that aims to solve both state sustainability and performant execution as an ETH rollup. Ignition is built upon the Fuel VM and a UTXO-based asset-centric architecture with ETH-grade security. Make sure to check out the growing Fuel ecosystem by participating in Phase 2 of the Fuel Points program today. Visit fuel.network to learn more. Bergie, since we have you here, I want to ask you a few questions because you've been in the space for quite some time. I think the first one that I have is how you view currently the public versus private markets and how you view like participating in private. How do you think it is right now? Do you think it's overpriced, underpriced? Yeah, in general, what do you think of private markets is, I guess, my question.
Um, hmm. So like Q1, people were just like, I think a lot of people they didn't allocate post like FTX, and then the catch up in Q1 was just throwing money at anything, or like maybe even Q4 of last year, and that just like ballooned all these valuations to like crazy like everyone's getting all these rounds, all these the guy in your chat who like never has any information is giving you like he's like sending you decks and you're like I don't this is
with
interesting.
a $40 million valuation.
Yeah, so I don't know, it's calmed down quite a bit, and a lot of like valuations either can't raise as high, and they're it seems a lot more reasonable, but I think people are a little afraid of buying any like things in private markets, just because they saw what happened with all those like airdrops in April, and
Yeah.
the valuations just went down only. And I don't know, a lot of people maybe like realized like there wasn't, why are they building this, this isn't gonna like there have been like a decent amount of teams who like close, they're like this isn't going to work out, which is pretty like I think honorable in crypto, because a lot of people can just like collect a salary check for a long time.
Yeah.
I think like Echo is a really good way to like, I think it's still really early, so we haven't really seen like what it would do to like effects of like tokens on public markets, but I think it's like an interesting experiment, and I think it's health like something like that had to get built to make it a little bit healthier for crypto in general. But like anyone who thinks like private market investing is like free money is like, I don't know. I've probably lost the most money just in private rounds and stuff. So I don't know. It's not like a super easy endeavor.
Yeah, it maybe could have been, back in 2020 and 2021, like, but yeah, nowadays, I mean, like you talked about I think a lot of the airdrops in April and just valuations in general, like people started kind of opening their eyes a little bit. But yeah, it is kind of funny how, I don't know, especially crypto VC. I mean, there's been, some pushback here and there, but it is kind of funny how people thought as little as like 6 months ago, it was just like a free money printer. It's just like, no, it's not the way it works at all.
Yeah. And then like the valuations they were coming out were so high. It's like, how do you ever justify buying this at like 40 billion, 20 billion valuations?
Ugh, not for me.
Bergie, how is managing the Echo group been, or like what has that experience been like for you? Has it been, yeah, in general, what are your thoughts on that? Like you said, it had to be built, but what would you improve on it, and what has been great so far?
I think so far it's been really good. You just like don't want to just like, well, I don't know, like you can just shove people like deals down people's throats if they're like really interested in it, which I think is fine. I what I kind of like it for is it's been like a good way to like meet a bunch of people that I don't really talk to in crypto. And so you get like different opinions or like different ideas that people are talking about, and kind of like help me just meet a bunch of new people. And then like you can kind of like be like a little picky on like what kind of deals you want to put in there, because I don't know, like private round investing isn't like free money, so it's just like it's hard like balancing that out. But I don't know, I think it's still like pretty early days, and I don't know, it's one of the few things in crypto that I think is like kind of pretty exciting.
Yeah, I think one of the
Folks,
good
are you
parts
on
of it.
it?
Yeah, yeah, and a couple groups there. I haven't like deployed, a ton of money because again, like it's not, people think that you just, get on there and get a couple deals and all of a sudden it's a 5x and it's liquid like, 2 months from now. And it's not the way it works. But I think one of the benefits for me at least has just been, whether you invest in something or not, but it's good to see people still, building and coming up with, I don't know, not necessarily like novel, but there's been a few kind of newish attempts at apps on different chains here and there, and stuff like that is just what we're going talking at the top, like the nihilism and the meme coins and everything. Like there's a bunch more that goes on, kind of underneath this ecosystem and underneath what's just on CT, and it's always refreshing for me to see that as well.
Yeah, it's really cool to like see, like I think it's been really great to like meet and talk to like a bunch of builders and stuff. And then like being able to see a bunch of like rounds and like valuations and what people are saying about something.
Yeah.
It,
Definitely,
it
and I think like just the rounds and the valuations too. Like obviously, you have one person and everybody's in a bunch of different group chats, and to me, it's kind of almost like a little bit like leveling the playing field, just like knowing what valuation, because that's some of that stuff used to be so hard to find, as little as like a
Yeah.
year or 2 years ago, and even just like knowing, nothing like inside, nothing about the projects whatsoever, but just like the valuations and the TGE details and like what the float is, and like some of that stuff was just so impossible and so gate kept. And I think another good part of Echo is there's a lot more information out there about valuations and what people are raising at and what's realistic and what's not, and I think that's good for the space too.
you can't really talk about anything on there though, or else it's like there's some like legal problems you get into. But I definitely think it's worth like joining if you want to join. You don't like have to, but I don't know. I think it's a interesting
I
like
definitely need to join.
segment of the market.
I definitely need to join. I also want to ask, this is for both of you guys. How do you, which one do I ask? Oh, what are the, I guess like we talked about apps a lot and how there's still being apps built. One thing we brought up was fantasy.top. What other apps um, do you guys really care about right now? Echo, fantasy.top. Is there anything else that you're like actually actively using that is not Moonshot? Moodang, you miss another 1,000x.
Mm.
uh Let me think. Not too much. I mean, it's more infrastructure, but I mean, Magic Eden's kind of wallet, and I mean, I say Phantom expanding the base. Like, I don't know, it's not necessarily an app, but it's just another kind of like infrastructure stuff that is just really, really improved. Um, what else is there?
Like
No, not really.
Hyperliquid's pretty
Yeah,
good.
yeah. Fuck, you'd love
If
to talk
you
about
What's
Hyperliquid.
pretty
Well,
good?
yeah.
yeah, Hyperliquid,
Hyperliquid.
you can consider as an app.
Yeah, you definitely can, and people will love that we say Hyperliquid. I don't know what they're doing, like what they're feeding the people, the community on Hyperliquid, but I think like typically I fade a lot of these communities. Like I don't really take it too much to heart when there's the Barra guys are like, oh, like GM Barra and stuff, and like the Monad guys as well. But I think Hyperliquid is the only one that I can't be like, because the app is actually there and the token's not live. Well, I guess they're just farming it, but they're very, very like almost rabid about that protocol. And I love Hyperliquid. This is like coming from somebody who loves Hyperliquid.
They're not going to give you extra
It's like
tokens if you say that.
they might. You don't know that. Jeff was on the pod one time.
I think it really fits into that narrative of like anti VC tokens and someone who's like sticking to the man. I kind of wish we had more people like that where they're like actually building something interesting, but they want like community to win. They want to like build a successful product, and it's not all about just like the money. It's about like building good product, but then also like allowing people to like have some upside or like like maybe upside. I don't know.
We hope.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, everything, Jeff's awesome, and everything they build is cool. Hyperliquid's definitely a good app to cycle. I'm trying to think of anything else. Um, just what you're talking about with Monad
I
and
use
Barrow.
Zora quite a bit.
Oh, Zora. Yeah. I will say the one thing about Monad and Barra, and I think Mega ETH too, though I'm a little less familiar with their ecosystem, is like I at least think they're trying, like, I don't know, the vape turn thing. Like maybe it's really dumb, and there's at least like attempts at, like Monad has a couple sports gambling stuff, and DFS, like, I don't know, it's at least something new. It's not just a deck swap, and I at least applaud them for that.
Yeah, I went to the Mega ETH event in Singapore and saw a bunch of demos for their apps, and it seems like they're very focused on like app building, and
Yeah.
I don't know, just kind of goes back to like what I was saying about I don't know if it'll really matter like where you deploy it as long as like the like base layer is like really good,
Hmm.
and like it'll maybe not get all abstracted, but uh, like building apps people want to use and like mobile friendly apps will definitely like make people um, maybe not like change their mind about crypto, but uh, it's just will be like fun to use.
Right, right. I mean, I don't think anybody's going to applaud us for talking about three new L1s that are going to come out. But like I said, I do appreciate that you can tell that there's a concerted effort for them. That like I think they know that they can't just you know like again they saw some of the airdrops in April. Like I think they know they can't just launch
Yeah.
another chain without new and interesting stuff. So I at least applaud them for going kind of out on the risk curve with funding some of the apps there and some of the stuff that's being built. Like, will it work? Who knows? Maybe not, but it's at least something a little differentiated.
We were talking about this, and increasingly, like the tech stack is not that much more differentiated between a lot of these chains. Like the jump from ETH to Solana was quite big, but since then, like Solana to Aptos, Solana to Sui, it's not that big. I don't think the gap is that big, like tech wise. Um, and I think the same is with Monad and with Mega ETH. That like the L2, like okay, it gets stuff from ETH, but it doesn't matter. Um, I think the main thing is going to be, like you guys said, it's going to be apps and like what's actually built on the chain and not. I don't know how much the L1 trade is going to be reliant on tech versus like BD efforts and ecosystem growth is what I'm basically trying to say.
It's just hard to like if you're like an app developer to choose where to build. I think you kind of have to build to where like you either like really believe in the ecosystem or like believe in the team, the founders. Um, you like what like their mission is, or like you're gonna get paid to like deploy there. I don't know what's the. It's just really hard to like fight for these like really good devs. I don't really know like. So Pump.Fun and all those Telegram bots made like hundreds of millions of dollars from just I
Yeah.
don't know why that hasn't drawn in more talent just yet. I know things like take a long time to build, but like, I mean, that's a pretty sizable chunk for like
Yeah.
6 months.
I was gonna say, $100 million, and I mean, Pump's team is like they have like 4 people on there, don't they? Or not even that?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, $100 million between 4 people. Last time I did math, like it might be enough to retire.
But there's a lot of opportunity though. It should be like pulling in more talent to the space, and like more like creative ideas, or not just through like the fundraising game, but like in actual products that people want to use.
That's the hope.
Yeah, that's actually kind of crazy. We haven't had that like talent flow back in. I mean, like ignoring of pump.fun trading bots, let's ignore those because those are, let's say, like related to meme coins. People immediately go like, "Oh, I might as well just launch a meme coin, try and make it on that." Like Friendtech also made an insane amount of money, and the app barely worked. It had users, but not that many users. Like that was still semi. Like the chain wasn't being used as much as Solana and stuff are being used now. They didn't have to work that hard. It was just Racer sending out a few tweets. So I'm like you said, Berge, I'm kind of surprised nobody's really come in. I
People
assume they're
say,
building it right now, but
yeah, I think it was a lot of the lag from FTX made it like very toxic or like nuclear to touch crypto in general. And then people say they like pivoted to AI, but like even I don't know, that's kind of like the fundraising game again of like raising a bunch of money and then I don't know, pitching to a bunch of VCs. But like if you build an app in crypto, you can make like millions of dollars just off like a Telegram bot, which is really crazy.
yeah.
That's gotta like catch. Maybe it's just like
We
I
need
don't
to
know.
write.
Maybe we're
Yeah,
the only people who care about apps and revenues and but
Bach, you need to tell the editorial team to put an article out there about how much devs have made
How
recently
much we can
on
make?
crypto apps. Get some
they're all
incentives
they've
for
all
them.
I mean,
they've been based on like speculation, which is just always
Yeah,
something crypto is. But I don't know, like it's apps that people are willing to like pay and use. So I don't know.
yeah. The model's clearly there, and I mean, some of the stuff, it takes some time. And I think what you said is about FTX and crypto being nuclear. Like it's still pretty toxic. Um, at least I think to kind of like everyday people or people that would tinker with like an app on the weekend or in their free time. Like I don't necessarily think they're thinking about it right now. So I'm trying to say we're early.
Do you guys see this Polymarket stuff, by the way? The Clashy is paying like interest for open positions.
yeah, that's why GCR moved his position, and everybody got freaked out, right?
Yeah, I put out that tweet just I don't know, just to see if people get mad, but I don't know. There were some people in the comments saying like no selling allowed ever. It's just like I didn't even say that. Like you can sell his Trump
Yeah,
position.
it's okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Bach, my thoughts on Polymarket. I mean, they've built a lot and got a
Dude,
lot of attention on
Tolks
crypto, but
hates Polymarket.
I don't hate Polymarket.
Tolks hates Polymarket.
I'm just
Why
very
do you hate
He
confident.
thinks it's
Polymarket?
soft.
No, I don't
Wow.
hate Polymarket. I just said that I just got very annoyed over the summer of it was the only thing people were talking about, and people would try and tie 1% move in the odds to BTC price, and it was driving me literally insane. And I was just like looking at the volume of everything else they have on there, and I'm just like this. I don't know. I was like, it's just going to top around the election. Like I just can't wait to stop hearing about it. 87
I don't
times every
know.
day.
I kind of think we're like starting to see like the volumes and stuff probably drop off, but I really like the micro markets of like people betting on like which word Trump's going to say.
Yeah,
And that like you can
That's
finally start to see like what everyone was talking about prediction markets for like a decade of like what they could become. I don't know. I think it's kind of fun.
yeah. No, it definitely is. And I went on a hater rant last time Bach had me on. I feel bad for the poly market people, but I did say I was like the idea and that micro stuff, and especially like verifying, just stuff and putting money behind, like in the AI age, like there's markets, and like these things they're important for verifying events, and especially again, like as AI becomes more prevalent, like verifying that is going to be important. Like I see the vision. I'm tired of the election betting, I guess.
Yeah, I mean the Polymarket guy's been grinding that out for like years. I have DMs from like 2020 or before 2020 of like, hey, you should try this out. And just like years of asking people to like try out their
Yeah,
product. So I don't know. I feel like they deserve it for how long a lot of people, a lot of teams probably would have given up.
no, that's true. Yeah,
Yeah.
they have grounded out, and like I said, it's been awesome for, I mean, just awareness of crypto, and what can possibly be built. Again, like it's another shining example of what can be done. So
I that micro markets thing you mentioned, Bergie. We'll wrap it up after this, but I've been seeing a bunch of these apps of people betting on influencers on Twitch, and I think like I agree with you. I really like stuff like that. Like I'm not a big betting guy, apart from the tokens. Like I don't really like gambling and stuff, but I do the way that the younger generation interacts with internet and with money is going to be so different to the way that we or like all of us have interacted with money. And I think like they place a lot of importance on influencers and on these Twitch streams and stuff. And I think giving them the ability to bet on those easily, like either through prediction markets or through like these apps. I know they have one on Monad Talks. Maybe you know it. I can't remember it, but they have a few of these like uh, overlay on top of Twitch betting apps. I'm excited to see those. Um, I've once again said that I'm excited to see casino stuff after saying I don't like the nihilism. But
we need more
uh,
betting apps.
but
No, I'm with you.
yeah, I don't know how I'm gonna tie that up. But in general, like that kind of stuff, I do think is kind of cool at least because it is an app technically. We're still buying and selling dog shit, but at least it's in an app format.
Well, I
It's
think
more of like entertainment though,
yeah,
than
Yeah,
like straight. Oh, some people might have, it might be gambling to some people, but
yeah,
I don't
I
know, just
think
kind of like fun.
Yeah, I think you can also spin it. Like to me, it's honestly one of like I don't know when I get sad about all the nihilism and stuff. Like one of the north stars about like where crypto is going to me is about the way people, the amount of money and time spent online. Like that's not ever going down. It's only
yeah.
it only goes up. And like of course it makes sense that internet native money like should be transacted there and settled instantly. Like that is honestly one of,
No,
so it does play into the speculation a little bit, but like those trends aren't reversing, they're only going up,
We
so you just
kind
have to
of
deal with it.
lost, yeah, we kind of lost that, like when NFTs were really popular, of getting away from like the real world kind of assets and more of like a digital economy kind of thing. And I don't know, I think that needs to come back a little bit stronger. But I get like wanting to put like the high value real world assets on chain. And like I think you should do both, but the I think we kind of lost a little bit of that like internet digital money kind of like for
Yeah,
fun, or
yeah.
like payments, stuff like that. I don't know, I think we kind of like lost that. It's all about just like making money versus like this could be like a kind of separate thing.
we need to bring the metaverse back, that's what you're saying.
That's why I always loved NFTs though. Like I don't meme coin culture thing is to me always seemed a bit fake. I mean, obviously it is fake, and but NFT culture is also kind of fake, but at least like it's a bit more believable. I genuinely liked it, and that's why I like trading NFTs and buying and selling and minting stuff. It's a lot more fun than meme coins, and I don't care like if I make less money doing NFT stuff, like it's not ruining my soul. Like the guy
We
was trying to.
yeah, we lost that. Well, we took the it's a shitcoin, but it's a JPEG. We took that a little too far, and now just
Yeah.
all shitcoin with just one JPEG, and it's just too much of an extreme.
And the loot box, we lost the loot box of
Oh yeah,
of the reveal of a rare, and you were just like, no way, let's go.
Yeah, I mean, that whole thing was so crazy. Like thinking back at it, um, I definitely wasn't like healthy for the space, but it was fun.
It was fun though.
I don't know. I don't really think like meme coins and stuff aren't terrible. Just when that's all there is to do or all people are talking about, I don't think it's super positive.
Yeah, agreed.
That's what we're.
Talks, do you have any?
No, just that's what we're
Go
gonna
ahead.
do. We bring the positivity.
We're gonna see. Guys, I think we're good to go, right? Talks, Bergie, do you have anything else that you? Wait, let's do this. Bergie, do you want one final word, well, one final sentence to our listeners that they can take to heart and think about over the next week?
Hmm. I don't know. I think you just like don't compare yourself to the Twitter feed all the time. The 24/7 of you're an idiot for holding this coin, you're an idiot for not holding this coin. Why didn't you buy this? Why didn't you buy X? Doesn't really matter all the time. And I think like using that to like make yourself better as I mean, if you want to be a better trader, then yeah, just do it. Like, but try to get away from the toxicity of just hating everything on Twitter and like the replies of bashing someone because they said something, or I don't know. I need to probably do that too. Just like walk away from the computer, walk away from like Twitter, and I think it'll be a lot healthier if you just log off for a little bit.
Just log out.
Just log out. That's the takeaway. All right, Bergie, thanks so much for coming on. Talks, you as
Yeah, it
well.
was fun. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks, Bergie. Always a pleasure. And talk soon.